All right, guys, and we're live with Miss Paula Smith. She's our main star of the show tonight. We got our co-host Stan too from Two Stands Fishing here. How you guys doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing okay. And glad to be here. You know, if I can't be out fishing, the next best thing is here talking fishing. And I'm truly honored to be talking to one of my favorite fishing people, Miss Paula Smith, tonight.
Don't make me cry, Stan.
Well, you know that I love you, Paula, and I really do feel that.
I know that, and I'm happy to be here. This first live I've been on in a long time. I thought, well, everybody done forgot about me.
They ain't nobody forgot. Can't forget a legend like Paula.
Exactly.
I'm not a legend. I'm just a human being.
You're a legend book any day. So, Stan, you want to shout people out in chat? I still haven't got that part figured out yet.
Sure, I'll go up here as far as I can go up there. We got Fishing and Freedom out there. Always great to see you. Dale Hayslip saying Catfish Queen, Paula Smith. Cody Robinson's out there. Dale Hayslip, how you doing? Two Hookers Catfishing. Jimmy Graham, Hooks and Hammocks. How's it going, Hooks? Guy in Dot Whiskers, how are you tonight? Saying hello to Miss Paula and praying for you. Muskrat Adventures, what's up, Roger? Tim Molina. Fishing with Big Mike. Big Mike's been putting a couple nice ones up on the bank, so congratulations moving up in that tournament there, Mike. Adam Savage Fishing. Potomac River Monsters, PRM, how's it going? There's Muddy River Catfishing. I think you know that guy, Paula, right? You know that Chris Flores guy? A little bit, anyhow.
Yeah, Chris Flores. I'm going to turn this just one more time, Brian. Ryan, so your head will shrink back down, but right here, can you see that? This all is so backwards. There's my hero. And you see that hat beside it, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
You touch that hat in this house, you'll get shot.
And we got Lucky Ronnie out there, Theodore Arco, George Ray. How's it going, George? Great to see you. There's LG Bass, Tom, my good friend Tom, Alicia Barnett. You know that Alicia Barnett, Ryan?
Yeah.
She fished down there in your waters.
Yeah, she was on one of my areas earlier today. I saw. I don't know how good she did.
Have you got your name wrote on that water?
Yeah, it's all. Every boat has my name on it. That way, if you go anywhere without fishing.
If that was the case, couldn't nobody fish the whole Tennessee River? It belonged to Paula Smith.
What's up, Lucky Ronnie?
Well, you know, when I say things like your waters, like I consider the James River, that's my waters. Other people fish it, but I want to get to that point where when you say James River, you think of Two Stands, and I'm working on it.
I already do.
Oh, well, God bless you. Thank you, Paula. Thank you.
God willing, I'm going to fish the James River with you and your son.
We can't wait. That'll be an awesome, amazing day.
Fishing with Paula Smith's Signature Series rod.
There we go. We'll be pulling an 82-pounder out the James River with the Paula Smith Signature Series rod.
We got to beat the 88.
Okay, we'll do 92 then. How about that?
Well, I'm gonna try to beat the I'm gonna try to get the 100 here, and then the state record here, and then I'm gonna venture on out and get the big boys.
Speaking of the Paula Smith rod, there was a PB broke on my boat with a Paula Smith rod this past Saturday. And then the same PB was broke again with a Blue Cat rod about an hour later. So I'll have a video coming out Monday. I'll probably drop it at 7 o'clock Monday evening with two, not just one, but two PBs.
All right, with the Muddy River Catfishing.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't
I actually caught a 40-pounder this weekend on my Muddy River flathead rod.
Well, congratulations. I caught my last fish. Well, I went to, I can't remember if it was last weekend. And Lord, let me tell you, that Bimini top and that Buddy heater is a lifesaver. I'd have paid $10 million for that 5 years ago. But we caught 2 small blues. I think it was 30-pound flat. But my biggest fish about a month and a half ago was a 45 or 50-pound blue out of the Duck River.
I see my good buddy Creole catfishing in the house here. If y'all ain't subscribed to him, he's getting close to that magic 1,000 mark. Make sure you're subscribed to him. He's got some awesome content, catches some monster fish, guys.
And we've got some more awesome people that came in. There's Buck Williams out there. Days Fishing Guide Services. Epic Catfish in the house. Say, how could I forget Paula Smith? Who else we got? I saw somebody else come in here. You were mentioning Creole catfishing, my good brother Creole catfishing. Like you said, he's on that road to 1K. If anybody in here isn't subscribed to Paula Smith yet, make sure you do that also. Let's get that done. Let's try to get her numbers up there.
Give up on that, Stan. Mine ain't gonna go past 10 or 707. So I didn't give up on that.
Well,
I'm out to fish. So.
Well, you've got some big fish on there. So
I know, I can understand it. I've got a lot of monster fish. I caught 3 in the 80s in 1 year and within a 6-month span, and I can't get past 1,000 views, or 1,000 likes on my YouTube. So, it's all about fishing to me anyway.
That's right. Palmetto Cats is out there. Palmetto Cats is saying Paula catches big fish.
I would expect that from him. What's his personal best, by the way?
What's yours, Paula? Wasn't it like 80?
My personal best is 88.
Tell us about catching that. How'd you go about that, and where'd you catch it at?
I live close to the lake. And behind my behind my house, and everybody had been using skipjack. Well, in my area, skipjack is not prevalent. Gizzard shad is. So it was a little warm, and I said, Ken, let's take the boat out. I want to throw the net, try to catch, a different bait, and try that out because what we're doing is not working. So we were under flood. We've been under flood for about 4 years, but we were pulling about 500,000 cubic feet that day. So we couldn't get out in the main channel, but we got right on the ledge, and we set up on it. There's a large school of Asian carp, and we set up. We didn't see the fish. We set up above the Asian carp because that's more current that was being blocked, because these catfish like current, but they don't like that much current. Now, this is totally my opinion. And the first skipjack we put on the hook, I hadn't even gotten my rod holders up, they were just mounted on the side. And when it went down and I went to get it out of the rod holder and it wouldn't follow my hands, I thought, uh-oh. So, and it acted like a flathead, and he run me from one side of that boat to the other. And of course I screamed, Ken, is this my 100? Is this my 100? And Ken never cusses. And he said, no, it's not your 100. And I said, Ken Smith. He said, it might be your 100. And we got it in. And he said, damn, what a fish. And Ken doesn't cuss. So I can't tell you what I said. I mean,
well,
I would have thought.
I hugged it and what's that saying? And called him George. You know, he was huge.
I hugged him and kissed him and called him my own. I named him George.
There you go. And I hope he's still out there. I hope he's, I hope he's in his hundreds now, and he very well could be.
Right.
It's very doubtful with the commercial fishing, but you'll never know till you get out there and keep trying to find them.
And Paula, one thing that I know that is so important to you is, like you just said, you're hoping that fish is still out there, and I know that the well-being and that catfish, the health of the catfish is like first and foremost priority in the way that you've conducted things. Even you've always tried to specify or state about how important catfish are to you, and with trying to do the studies that you've done and talking about the commercial fish and trying to get laws changed, and so big shout out to you for that. And that's just, if we have more people doing that, I think the health of those catfish, you're going to continue to see more 80 pounders and 90 pounders and those hundreds, because we are giving catfish the respect that they deserve.
If each state's, of course, Tennessee is TWRA. If each state's Fish and Game or Fish and Wildlife will go by the rules and stick to them, then we'll start seeing more trophy catfish.
And part of what I've seen is the issue on that is we have decent regulations here. We just don't have the enforcement. We don't have the game wardens, officers out there on the water to make sure that it's all put into effect.
Right, and even if I've give several information about some pay lakes, and it's no big deal.
They don't. I mean, I've called them several times, and we've talked about this before on here. I've called them out noodles or guys that are out just keeping way too many fish or running trot lines and got dead fish.
And leave half their noodles there for weeks.
And they never show up and never do anything about it.
Right. But see, legally, they're supposed to have their name on that noodle or that limb line.
Yep.
And TWRA or whatever, wildlife enforcement, is supposed to be checking these trot lines, limb lines, noodles. I don't know I don't want to say, we can't afford to be worried about fish. Well, in my world, that's all exists. But, it don't take a lot to hop in the boat, run down the river, check your limb line, trot line, noodles, and their name is supposed to be on it. And if there's not a name, take it out of the water. If it's been there too long, take it out of the water.
But if that noodle, we're in trouble.
Epic, thank you so much.
And yes, I totally agree, Epic, that Miss Paul's a huge ambassador for the catfish, and I brought that up kind of the other day, that I think it's important that we all kind of take Paula's example, and we need to be that ambassador out there. When you see like what she was just talking about with the noodles and stuff being left all over the place, well, people think that's catfishing, so it gives all of us that bad name and that bad reputation. And
right, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I would go with my daddy with these wire baskets and put them out, and that was illegal. And now I'm married to a game warden. But we wasn't out there to get trophy catfish. We were out there to catch fish to eat.
Yeah.
It's a big different ball game now, and we've got to do something to save not just the fisheries in my area, all fisheries. I don't know if anybody picked up. I do research just about every day when I feel like it now, but you didn't see as many monster catfish come out of Wheeler this year as you normally did. If you think back last year, year before, there wasn't as many. There's a reason for that. One thing is bait fish, and I understand Alabama's putting a limit on how many skipjack you can catch. I understand that. You know, if you're gonna go fishing, you don't need 200 skipjack. If you're if you sell bait as for a living, I understand that, but you know, get you you know, how many skipjack do you need, and I'll have them there.
Right. Well, we see that a lot, even with just recreational fishermen in the James River here. We're allowed to use gill nets to get the shad for bait because James River is a tidal water, so it's controlled. It's actually a saltwater license that you have for a gill net to get the shad in the river. And if you do it properly, you put your gill net out. You're supposed to stay within a certain amount of feet, and you watch what you're doing. It's a great way to get bait fish without doing a lot of harm. But
Right.
if you leave the nets out and you don't follow the way that you're supposed to ethically do it, you know, then you get those situations.
How many people do you know, you know, other than yourself, follow that rule?
Well,
They know that the wildlife. See, it's easy for me to say TWRA. The wildlife research. I mean, are they going to check them? You know, there's more things on their mind.
I've been to the river one time. I don't know how many times I've been to my local lake this year, but I'm sure it's well over 200. I was at the James River for 4 days, and I saw more Mortons there than I had in Taylorsville in a whole year.
And that's sad because each state pays for these people's salary. You know, Ken is retired and he's on the ACA as a biologist. He don't get paid for that. He does it because he loves nature. He loves saving. He doesn't want to see these fish be depleted, disappear. Not only fish, it's any animal. Like the bald eagle, he helped bring them back to the state, and they're not endangered right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it would take just a few rotten eggs, and we'd be back to square one on the bald eagle. I don't know how to fix it. I just know that I'm not going to do what is not right.
Well, that's Paula. The biggest thing that we can all do, each and every one of us, is just if we do things the right way as our persons, as each of us, and people see that example. That's the first thing. Number one. Number two, we can speak up, like I know Ryan has done many times, where he's seen something that's not right. He's tried to do something about it. Right. I know the same thing with you, and I think we could coexist with everything could work together if everything was just followed the right way, and there was but you know what I think it is that
instead of doing this, get together, put it down on pencil and paper, turn it into the ACA, turn it into Ken. They can get, you know, write out a proposal. They can get something done, and I truly believe that from what I know right now, they've got something great that's happening, and You need to quit drinking them Mountain Dews.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know it. I'm on a health kick now. Let me get a drink of my Coke.
We've got Sean T Outdoors out there, Country Catfish with Chuck. If anybody has any questions for Paula, just try to drop it out there. Put that little red question mark or somehow mark it so it makes it a little bit easier to make sure we get the comments so we don't miss. Muskrat Roger says, make catfish a game fish is step number 1. And
Catfishing needs to be a sport fish.
And I think that as more money, again, I think it's a lot of it has to do with money. Catfish has just been that bottom fish and taken for food, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now that there's a lot more revenue spent on catfish and rods, and people are going to specific destinations to catch trophy catfish. So as that becomes more and more, and states see that they're going to lose some revenue because of the way catfish are treated, you'll see that changing, I think.
But will it be done in time?
But there you go. There's a good question.
There's one thing that I like tournament fishing, but I'd rather be fishing. I'm after that next big fish. I want every rod on my boat going down. It doesn't have to be in a tournament. You know, some people can't afford to pay a $5,000 entry. You know, gambling against 200 boats that fish the area that the tournament's in. You know, they need to equal that out. Everybody come down here at my area. I promise you, it will be a fight to find the fish and win. It'd be a fight for me. You know, Chris Flores, tell us about the most flatheads you've caught in one day. If you're talking about my favorite trip to New Mexico, I lost count, and the one that you had to dive in, I can only take credit for half of it. But I'm gonna tell y'all guys that was one of the most awesome things that. Because I'm here to tell you, I wouldn't have dove in that water for no dadgum body. And I can swim. But I was just, it blew my mind that Chris done that, and it really, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget Chris Flores, because Chris Flores has done so much for me in my career. Chris is probably one of the great, you know, it's just like you've got 10,000 rods out there. You've got 10,000 boats. You got 10,000 hooks. You got 10,000 sinkers. You got 10,000 rod racks. You got 10,000 rod holders. You don't have to be so competitive. You know, pick what works for you, whether it be, you know, if the Walmart rod holders felt better for me, that's what I'd be using. And people don't have to hate each other over it. I'm going to have some upcoming shows. I've got a few changes coming, some good changes coming, and who'd have guessed you had to get cancer to get different changes and stuff. But and it's not because one thing the catfish world has done is they have kept me positive. They have prayed for me. And I'm going to mention somebody, and it may hair lip everybody on here. And if it does, well, it's just going to have to hair lip you. I don't know Stacy Gaston, but do you know he sends me a message, a prayer, just about every other day? He prays for me. He even prays for me on his live. He's not a sponsor. He's not he's just a good man. And that means a lot. And I've also had my very own sponsor. No, let me rephrase that. I've also had someone that I thought that I looked up highly to, told me that I should not mention me having cancer anymore. People want to know an update. I can't come home and send everybody 500 to 1,000 messages because I don't feel like it. So I do a live to let everybody know the update and how things are going. And that hurt. That made me feel like that's right. So I'm not gonna lie. I lost some respect.
Well, Paula, we all understand that, and for everybody, if everybody out there, if you believe in prayer, try to say some prayers for Miss Paula. If you believe in positive thoughts, think some positive thoughts. She's on the battle with cancer, and we know that you're going to come through the other end of that and be on the James River here with 2 stands, catching some monster blues, and I can't wait for that. But I think
Well, I hope you're right.
I'm right. I guarantee it. And so yeah, please, if you can put some
You,
prayers.
Joe Zingler, I believe I got it right. Thank you.
Yeah, and we know that that's well, you'll be hearing more from me on a regular basis now. Like I said, I didn't know a lot of what was going on, so.
I mean, I didn't try to keep it a secret. I felt like the catfishing is my world. Most everybody knows that. I'm either posting catfish pictures or talking about my grandchildren, and I felt like that it was only fair that I let everybody know
Of
because
course.
y'all are like family to me, and it's hard. It's real hard. Some days will be okay, and some days won't. But I'm tough. My mama's making me drink Boost, so I got plenty of protein. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I never hardly ever brag about my husband Ken. Ken has been. I don't know what I did to deserve God to loan Ken to me, but he has not missed one day. I have to go every day, an hour for treatments, and he's not missed one day. And he's not said, I think you got this beat. He said, I think we got this beat, Paula. Not, it wasn't me, it was we. Not many husbands will do what Ken does. And I think
husband put up with Paula as long as Ken had.
he's probably done been to the insurance agent and said up her insurance about $1 million.
No, me and Paula's fished together one time. We got to hang out at the Catfish Expo in Pigeon Forge, and both trips, both of them I went live for a little bit. The tournament at Mad Jack's down here on Taylorsville Lake that you came up and did with me, that was one of my most memorable fishing trips I'll ever have.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
laughed for 10 hours. I mean,
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
We laughed. And them dadgum bugs come from nowhere. You're gonna have to get some kind of spray and spray up water next time.
If anybody was watching that video, the bugs literally were just so thick you couldn't see the water.
See, it was just a white screen. It was bugs. And they were coming from the water. It was like they were hatching.
Oh. And they went away for a long time, and then when it started to get daylight, that's when they come back.
They come back. Yeah, it was like somebody was after us.
Oh, but we had a really good time. What we finished 10th in that tournament or something out of like what 60 boats, I think it was. I can't remember.
Yeah, I fished it the year before. Not the year of the pandemic, the year before was my first time to fish it, and it was. I went up to Steve Douglas and shook his hand before we left, and I told him that was one of the biggest challenged body of water that I'd ever fished, and it was an honor to pull up there and have fish in the boat, and walk away in 10th place. And there was a lot of boats. I can't remember how many.
I'm wanting to say it was 60. Lucky Ronnie's still in here. He can probably tell you better than I can. He was there that night too.
Well, if ain't nobody in here that was there, then we come in fourth.
we had 100-pound of fish and just come fourth. I don't know what happened.
I know it. And you went up and got the truck, and me and Peeling Drag was looking for the card. I was trying to drive the boat around, waiting on you so I could get loaded up. He couldn't find the card for love nor money. And we get up there in line, and the guy's taking a fish, and he says, "Where's your card?" And I said, I act like I didn't hear him, and he said it again. I said, "I think a guy back there's got it." And about that time, Peel and Drag found it in the glove box, and it was like, phew, live station.
I knew I'd put it in there, but I couldn't go look for it because I was driving the truck.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew we had it. And I said, "Call Ryan, tell Steve we've got our number, we know our number, and we're not going to have our number on our hand."
We had a blast down there that night, and I mean,
yes, we did.
I kind of felt pressured more on that than I ever have any tournament because I had all these people there that was coming up wanting to know what I was going to be doing, where I was going to be going, how I was going to be fishing, what kind of bait I was going to be using, because everybody was looking at me going, "His home lake. He's supposed to know what's going on here." Well,
yeah, but if they wanted to know so bad, they'd have been up there practicing.
And to beat it all, we went what 8 hours and had one fish in the boat. And I finally at daylight was like, "No, we got to go do something else." I run all the way back to their end of the lake with 2 hours to go in the tournament,
and was wearing them out.
It lasts 15 minutes. We catch 5 fish in 15 minutes. We was cold.
Yeah, it was like reeling one rod, throw to somebody, start reeling another one. It was an awesome tournament. I'll never forget it.
We didn't get any monsters that night, but we got fish, so that's all that mattered. Right.
We had a good time. That's what counts.
It's a fishing tournament, not a catching tournament,
Right.
And
enjoy doing what you love to do.
And that's part of why I like tournament fishing. I like it because it puts you out there and it puts a little pressure on you to catch some fish. When you're just out there fun fishing, yeah, you want to catch fish, but there's no pressure.
I don't mind tournaments every now and then. I don't want to do tournaments all the time because I don't see how people can afford it. But when I do go out, I put pressure on myself because I'm after a bigger fish, bigger than the one before. So,
It
uh,
does fish different too. You do things when you're out there by yourself and you're looking for that one big fish, or you're just out there to have fun. And that's my goal every trip is that one big fish. Whether I'm
Mm-hmm.
in a, I want that big fish pot in any tournament I get in. That's what I'm there for. And
right.
when you're out there in a tournament, though, you'll downsize baits just to put fish in the boat and get your limit, especially at the first of a tournament.
Well, I mean, uh, sometimes they want smaller bites. Sometimes they want bigger bites.
That's the key. I,
It's
I showed
trial and error.
my last video I put out. Them little thread fin shad, they're like 4 inches long. That's what I caught fish on last weekend.
You ought to be ashamed. Them were babies.
Them fish eat them too. Bait's bait.
Bait's bait when it comes to fishing. We've been doing really good catching gizzard shad here, which is a real promising fishing for the winter.
There's Palin Drag. He said we wore him out the last 30 minutes. That was our third partner in that tournament, and he had a blast too. I just met him for that tournament, and within 5 minutes, I felt like I'd known him my whole life.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
There's Alicia said because I gave y'all the bait, and she did. She hooked us up with bait at like 2:00 in the morning.
We didn't catch enough of them little bitty baby minnows you was talking about.
Sometimes this weekend was the second time I've had it happen where that's all I can get fish to bite on. And the only reason I was using them this week, I couldn't find nothing else. I looked for bait for an hour and a half, and that's all I could find. So that's what I went with.
Yeah, what we normally do, especially now that the shad are here, we'll get ready, we'll head out, we'll go catch our bait, and then we go fishing. We watch where our bait balls are on our sonar. We know where to come back to, where the bait's hanging out. And if we run out of bait, then we know where the bait is.
And what makes this lake here so there's so much this lake. I mean, you seen how thick the shad is here. I mean, anywhere you went, there was just a million of them little shad. And
Yeah.
I think they're overfed a lot of times. It's just so easy for them to just swim through a ball of them shad and get a mouthful that they don't need to eat. They don't want to eat. They're not looking for a meal.
Yeah, I said something to Ken back when Asian carp hit here. They thought they were breeding or reproducing up the Duck River, and we no longer have Asian carp like we used to. I mean, we still got a few, but nothing like we used to. But during the time that we had the smaller ones and the ones that would jump out of the water and try to knock you out of the boat, we had big fish. I don't know if that plays into anything. That's just something that's run through my mind all day. I'll probably research it.
Epic ain't kidding. Them big fish can be hard to hold up to get a picture, especially when you're trying to do it by yourself and get that angle right. Put that
I'll get it.
pose on them fish to make them look bigger.
I'll get it. I'll be hugging him, calling him George.
Yeah, I had trouble this past weekend with the 40-pounder. I had to sit in the chair.
Yeah. I mean, some of the bigger ones, they don't fight as bad. And then you've got some that will just try to beat the crap out of you.
The springtime, when you catch a fish in the springtime, just a few weeks before spawn, it seems like that's the hardest a fish will fight. You take a 40-pound fish, it'll fight like a 60-pound fish in that time period. They're fed up, the water's just warming up, and they're getting their energy back, I guess, and then they're getting ready for spawn too, so they're all hormone raging, I guess, for that. And I don't know, they'll fight 3 times as hard in the spring as they do any other time of the year.
Yeah, no. From now till probably the end of June is my favorite time to fish.
He's saying you don't have to hold them fish out. They're just that big.
They're that big as it is.
Short arms, muskrat. When all this is over with, I'll have so much body strength, y'all be wondering why I'm toting my boat to the bank or to the ground.
So we've had some more awesome people come in. We got 40 people watching J&S Outdoors. How you doing there, Sunfish Assassin? Love them and kiss them and name them George. I've heard that my whole life since his name is George. We got catfish and crappie out there. Peel and drag catfishing. J&S. I know I missed a couple people, but welcome. Glad you're all here. If anybody's got any questions for Miss Paul, put the questions out there. Put a little signal by it so we don't miss it. Thank you for coming in.
Ask me anything you want to know. I'll be glad to tell you. I ain't got no secrets.
All right, Paula, so let's talk about wintertime fishing. You talking about this is your favorite time to fish. What is something that you do in the wintertime that you're starting to do now that you normally don't do when you fish?
I'm not going to give you my secret.
No, you don't. I don't let you on my show. You got to give me a secret.
We anchor more in the heart of winter. Right now, we can do some shallow water fishing, dragging, but the colder it gets, the more we anchor up. We don't sit in the same spot for a long period of time, but we find our fish. If they're hungry, they're going to eat it. If not, then we move on.
So how long would you say you out once you fish and marked them? How long will you sit on them?
If they're inactive, no more than 30 minutes.
All right. And then when you pull them baits up, you've soaked them for 30 minutes, you've moved to your next spot. Do you run the same baits or do you put fresh baits on?
I like to try to put fresh baits. Fresh bait is key on anything. But I save my old bait in case you run out of bait.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what, that's a good problem to have, running out of bait, right?
yeah.
So it's just a question of if you've got bait, you'll use fresh bait every new anchor or every new spot.
Right. You want that, especially with gizzard shad, you want that blood, that gizzard shad bleeds good. It's got a good oil to it. And I like it. The fish in this area, that's what they have to feed on. They've got skipjack, but not as prevalent if you go to Wheeler.
Yeah.
They're going to come more eating skipjack in Wheeler than shad. It's just what food is in the body of water you're fishing.
And that's me. I can't get a bite here on skipjack ever. I've tried it several different occasions over and over and over again. I cannot make it catch fish. Hagen Grubbs comes down here and he'll catch fish with it. Me and him's been dragging down through there and skunked out together before. And we've been dragging down through there and him with skipjack and me with cut shad or bluegill. And we both caught fish, but I don't know why I can't make it work. We both have different techniques for one of how we fish and where we fish.
Right. Is his fish fresh?
Sometimes he keeps a lot of frozen skipjack because we don't have them here. So if you bring them, you gotta go catch them the day before, or you've got to go bring them out of the freezer.
Right. We always try to fill our freezer up February, and we've been out of bait for 2 months now. Part of that I'm guilty because I've been feeding my eagles, but I don't like a frozen shad. I want my shad fresh, period.
Yeah, I hardly ever. Now I've got bait in the freezer, and like if I go fishing tomorrow, if I was to leave here and go tomorrow, I'd take frozen bait with me. Just because the last 2 trips I've made, I couldn't even get bait, so I may have that. I'll spend about 2 hours looking for bait, and then I'm done. I'm going on. I'm going to do something different, whether it's come home or use frozen bait. 2 hours tops.
Yeah, well, now in the wintertime, I would recommend moving more than 2 hour span.
I'm talking about just 2 hours looking for bait.
Oh, okay.
2 hours running around looking for bait. If I ain't got it by then, I'm either using frozen bait or I'm coming home.
Yeah. Dave's Fishing Guide Services is asking, when you coming back to New Mexico to go fishing with him?
When he comes back to the catfish conference and fishes with me, and then when my 7 weeks of treatment is up, I'm moving to New Mexico.
Guy in Dot Whiskers says, them James River shad are huge and always have a lot of poop when cutting them. You get it on you. Yeah, I know that. These James
we cut the gut out. Now, people cut their bait differently. We cut the gut out, and then we'll either flipper them, cut the head off, and have a flipper fillet. And then, worst comes to worst, you've got the gut pocket that you can throw out.
Well, I'll tell you what, some of these shad we get here in the James River, they are the size of footballs. I mean, they're huge. These gizzard shad here in the James, and I think it's part of the reason why James River has such big blues in it is because of the food source. That gizzard shad is here year round, and
Right.
they're prevalent and they're big. So there's always that main food source for them to eat. So
Right. If you don't have food source, the fish are not going to be there. They're gonna go to where the food is. And it goes in cycles, just like everything else. It goes in cycles. I may go out there tomorrow and hang a 140 pounder. I guess I'd have to tie it to the anchor rope to get him to the bank. And call co-op because they're the only certified scale. But they're there. They're smart. They're smarter than we give them credit for. And they're a beautiful animal. And they deserve to live in their natural habitat.
I concur.
Yeah.
I've got an article coming out in February where I caught my 84 of February last year. And I think they waited to do it at the same time because the icicles and all that. But I was excited. I was really excited about, I can't wait till I get that article. And now I don't know if I'm really going to show it. I may keep it for my grandkids. I guess I've been burnt by a few.
That's a live and learn thing right there. You got to learn when to let out on some people, I guess. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I don't dislike anybody in catfish. Well, maybe one or two, but I am nowhere near done fishing. As long as I can crawl to that barn, drive my boat down there and hook it up, I'll be out there fishing. Fishing is my passion. It's my life. And I'm nowhere near done. I've only begun.
Amen, Paula. Amen. JBT, how you doing? Guy in Dot Whiskers. Mullet is an amazing bait. For those that fish in tidal waters, you get some of the saltwater fish that come in, and that's a mullet. They are amazingly oily. They actually have a nickname called Biloxi bacon because their meat is so fatty. It's almost like tuna meat or something like that. But yeah, for those that fish in tidal waters and you can get mullet, that is an amazing bait.
No,
See, we don't have a around here, do we, Ryan?
no, those are a saltwater.
Yeah. If you fish in the tidal waters where the mullet will make runs up the river for breeding, just like a lot of the saltwater species do. They like to come up and breed in salt and in fresh water. Like in the springtime, we have hickory shad. The shad run happens in the springtime. Hickory shad and American shad, along with alewives and other river herring. But the hickory shad is really similar to the skipjack. But we only get them here in the James River in the springtime for about a month. They'll make a mating run in the spring. And in the James, we're allowed to use, we can't touch the American shad, but we can use hickory shad bait, which is almost identical to the skipjack.
If the water temperature gets below, I believe, 32, the threadfin shad die out. We have a threadfin shad, kill. And a lot of people think it's because barges chew them up or whatnot, but they can't live in that colder temperature, the threadfin. So, which they would never be big enough for me to put on my hook.
My last video.
What size hook do you have?
10-aught.
Is that what you're using?
That's all I use. 10-aught.
I've jumped from a 9-aught to a 10-aught, and I've got a lot of different products going on my boat, and it's really going to look sharp. I'm proud of it. I'm thankful to all my sponsors from the past, the present, the future. But don't count me out of the ball game.
Well,
don't count me out.
I don't think that none of us will. Epic Catfish said, as long as you can wiggle, there's a lot of us that will come up there and take you fishing, Paula.
All right. I'll even let you drive my boat. Is that my girl back there?
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I seen that video where you got that personal blast on that Paula Smith rod.
Yes, it was fun. That was a very fun day.
Well, man, you gonna have to go out one day and leave Ryan on the bank.
Yeah.
I got my own boat.
We'll show you how it's done.
We'll take the plug out of it.
Yes.
I got a camouflage when you can't get the plug out of, so.
Oh, I can. I'll find it.
Say hi.
Paula says she knows how to use a drill. She'll make a new hole for you.
There you go. I'll make you some air holes.
Oh, you don't need a drill. The trailer tires take care of mine, so.
Oh my goodness.
Fishing is a very expensive sport.
It definitely is.
You know, and the people that stay with it and research it. And I'm not just people, oh, I'm going to go fishing this week. I might go next week. It's those that sit down and research, different kinds of bait, how these fish move, when they move. Uh, the ones that research it and learn their habits, their eating habits, that's the ones that stick it out in the long run.
Oh,
The epic catfish, the Tim Scotts of the world are the ones that make it work. Guy knows more about catfishing from what he's studied in the last 30 minutes than I'll ever learn in my life.
I know it. Epic needs to come down here and give me some kind of clues or something.
I'll tell you what, Paul, you know how a lot of us are out there. I think it was about a month and a half or so ago. We were actually live. I was doing my Friday night show, and I was out on the water fishing when Epic first came up. And we were live till like 6 a.m, not fishing because I had been home already, had drove home while we're still live, and just over how to read like Navionics maps and what spots to look for. So, I mean, that was just one night, and there was a bunch of people in there all night just picking up little tips on how to look at Navionics and what spots to look for, and it was crazy. It was awesome.
But you still have to keep the basics of fishing in your head. These electronics are great. And if you follow the contour of the river channel, especially when in the wintertime where the ledge is, them fish are going to be holed up waiting for time to feed. You've got to go out there and put your time in, and having treatment 5 days a week, it's going to be hard to do it, but I'll figure it out.
All right. Been fishing with the Chad. Anything leave everybody with, Paula?
You leaving me?
Yeah, we're running fishing with the Chad. He's getting ready to come on. It's 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Anything leave anybody with? Any last words?
I want to thank everybody for your thoughts and your prayers. I'll have to move them because this is a hard battle, and just don't stop being my friend because I have cancer. Don't think it's the wrong thing because I want to keep you updated because y'all are my friends. You're my family. And I love each and every one of y'all. Each and every one of y'all.
Well, Paula, that feeling's mutual. You got me going now, dang it. We have a lot of love and respect for you, Paula. You are family. You're the big part of this catfish family, and we all have a lot of love and respect for you. So,
and I appreciate that. And Ryan, I love you to death, my partner.
I love Paula too. That's one thing about me and Paula. We met through being teammates with the same sponsors, and we've actually become really good friends just through the sport of catfishing. I mean, that's nothing other than that. We talk at least once a week.
Oh yeah, I worry about him, and then I got on to him yesterday. He's working too hard, and I said, Ryan, life is more important than working. I mean, you can work and survive, but make time for life because you never know what life you have.
Definitely, I try not to work too much, but I don't have it in me to just say no and not do it. You know what I mean?
I understand that. I'm 100,000 years older than you.
Wouldn't say that many, but you know.
Well, 900 million. But if I had it to do over, I'd be out there every day too. I mean, that's the bottom line. I just, I'm gonna, after the Catfish Conference, I'm going to do a live. A good friend of mine, actually Richard Fedley, and his girlfriend Keisha. That's who bought my old boat, and they love it, and they're great friends. They're coming down in a couple of weeks. We're going to do a live together, and we've got some announcements to make, and we're pretty excited about it. We got some products that we're going to come out with. We're excited about, and y'all keep your eyes out because I'm going to be pulling that 300-pounder somehow by the anchor. But I'll be bringing him in.
Oh, all right.
Thank you for having me, Ryan, and Stan. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see.
You know how I feel about you, Paul. I love you much. And appreciate everybody out there. If you could hit that thumbs up button, throw some hearts out there. Show Miss Paula how much we love her, and y'all keep her in your prayers.
Thank y'all so much.
I'll go over and jump in with Fishing with the Chad. He's on live now with the bait shop. We'll catch you guys in a couple of days.
All right, y'all be safe.
See you later.